We are M.I.Diverse. I'm Dryw. That's John, and that's Jenna. And a little bit of a spoiler warning. Not really a spoiler warning. That's the episode for this week because it's a post Comic-Con week, and there has been a lot of people showing and sharing stuff behind the scenes of movies, or for what really set off this episode. There was a huge apparent leak for Avengers Doomsday, which is wild. Like it always seems to happen about around like event movies. But before we get into that, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It just share the crap out of it. We really want you to. We would really like you to. So anyway, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, Jenna, would you like to start, or would you rather me start?
Just wanted to start off with some of my overall thoughts about like leaking in general before we get into like hyper specific before we get into specific examples,
Yeah.
before we get into the meat and potatoes. I have seen people in articles online saying that leaking a movie can negatively affect the box office performance since
Hmm.
hypothetically people would just watch the leaked version. However, I feel like that's a bit of bit over dramatic
Hmm.
because they are really speaking in hypotheticals since we don't know exactly how it would have performed if it wasn't leaked. It's like
Yeah.
maybe it would have performed the same amount anyway, regardless, since you have to take into consideration outside factors that would have made people interested or not. Like, for example, if a live action remake or a sequel to a legacy franchise was leaked, people wouldn't watch it, not because there was a free version online, but because people were already getting so burned out and fed up with them, with all of
Hmm.
these sequels and remakes getting shoved in their face, that many people wouldn't want to watch it anyway. And
I
also, people would still go see it in theaters anyway, because, especially in recent years, many have been craving the theater experience.
mhm.
And I'm not trying to downplay the effect of it. It's leaking a movie can hurt box office numbers.
Mhm.
Some will choose the leaked version over the theatrical version. It can
Mhm.
undermine their marketing campaign and and be unable to break even and recover production and marketing costs. However,
Mhm.
again, that's to assume that the studio speculated that the film would have succeeded, but in reality, no one would have known if it was going to be successful or not. And I've even found some people think that spoilers can actually help movies that have limited
Mhm.
advertising budgets and releases and yeah, limited advertising budgets and releases can
Mhm.
actually increase their box office revenues.
Yeah, like it kind of dredges up hype for
Yeah.
the movie. It and before like I if I get I want to give the floor to John too. But before I was gonna get into that, like I feel like especially when I think of leaks, it's like pre-release type leaks. So like in like senses of what it was said in the intro is somebody said the whole plot of Avengers Doomsday got released, or you get like John mentioned this in like our discussion before we started recording, like the design for or the main character for Tangled, her dress got shown off, and for Rapunzel's dress got shown off, and then Mother Gothel's like Mother Gothel's hair got shown off in the last like week or whatever. Is that right, John?
Yeah, that's pretty much so. I think so far what I've seen of the leaks for Tangled, for this live action Tangled, it looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never actually been excited for a live action for a long time. I think
Mm-hmm.
the last live action movie I was actually excited for was like Maleficent 2
Mm-hmm.
was the last time I was ever excited about a live action Disney movie. But this one I really think this one's gonna come out good.
Yeah. I I
I
feel
just hope they
like
don't fumble at the last minute, but hey.
yeah. I was gonna say, kind of to go on along with Jenna's like whole thing about like how leaks can kind of hurt some of the stuff of the movie, is like you get leaks for like there was the leak with Moana where Dwayne Johnson he was in his whole like muscle Maui muscle suit or whatever, and obviously it doesn't have any CGI covering it, so it just looks like a guy in a muscle suit. And the actual quality of the finished movie aside, it's I think if you don't have the context for some of these leaks, it can hurt like the actual performance of the movie in the end. But kind of going back to it, it does also, I think, kind of dredge up some hype because, little to, I believe, little to nothing for like the He-Man movie. Like, I was going to say basically it was marketed, but I think there was at least a couple leaks that people had seen where people were really hype, but it was very little. But I know for any of the stuff I seen, I was, pretty like excited for regardless. So I think there's some good to some of this stuff, and then there's some bad to some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like it. I feel like
yeah,
leaking movies is similar to someone posting a review.
yeah,
It might make some people not want to watch the movie, while
hmm
others will go see it officially anyway. It's just the people who would prefer to watch the pirated version or read someone's review probably didn't care that much about the movie anyway.
yeah, and I put it in my notes, but I'm just gonna say it. It's something I kind of noticed in the last like 5 to 10 years is a lot of people like to post leaks to kind of get credit for finding this information about the movie or about something that's coming out. And I think we're obviously past the 1 minute mark, so I could say it. It's just kind of like a demeasuring contest to see who like can get all of this information out before the movie comes out. And for people that don't like spoilers, kind of basically ruin the movie for those who don't like spoilers, so to
Yeah,
speak.
and that's really the real danger of leaks. And this actually has happened before in cases like the constant faked leaked scripts
Hmm.
for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, if you remember any of that,
Man, no,
where where it just became a sport mostly by news and gossip outlets to see, like you said, who has the best leak, who can be the top one, and it just and like I said, that's the real danger to that's the real danger with leaks because it can make people create more outrageous claims to one up each other.
yeah. And I mean, obviously, sometimes there's even cases, especially with the advent of AI, a lot of people are making fake leaks. And, you don't know what's real anymore. Obviously, we've seen a lot of these like fake clips shared around online for like some of these movies that are coming out. And unfortunately, it's improving to the point where you might get something that looks like a cam rip, but it's obviously like faker than fake. So you can't even that I just had a light bulb moment. I feel like what if like some of these studios are intentionally letting this type of like stuff come out to detract to make people like to kind of cover up leaks. So if a leak does come out, people can just be like, "Oh, that's just fake AI crap or whatever." Don't listen to that. And then, but you can kind of get what I mean. Like an actual leak comes out, it gets so drowned out by all the AI crap that people will. I mean, obviously, there's AI crap that people are making regardless, but people won't be able to tell nowadays whether or not like it is the genuine article. So people are just going to go in with I don't want to say a fresh mind about it, but I feel like that was just like an eye-opening thing. It's like, oh my God, they can make an excuse to say you don't know if this is a real clip or not. Sorry. Sorry, I was like in the middle of one thing and I just realized that might be
I
their whole
mean,
plan.
maybe, and that could also be part of why leaking a movie like sometimes don't even doesn't even hurt the box
Mm-mm.
office numbers anyway.
Makes people sometimes it makes people want to see it more.
Yeah.
I I wanted to mention this, and I didn't know how to segue to this. I just wanted to mention this real quick because I thought it was really funny. Sometimes leaks aren't even like whole like paragraphs or whole videos. You just get somebody that has worked on the movie or in the movie, and I don't want to get be like too spoilery because Spider-Man is coming out. But if you guys know who I'm talking about, there is a clip of a musician that worked on a movie that accidentally revealed the name of a secret villain character for the movie. I'm not going to say it for those who haven't watched it yet, but it's easy to look up. And she is a major, because obviously they've marketed it as a girl character. She is a major character in this whole Marvel universe. But I just think it's funny how what can even constitute as a leak anymore. I just
Yeah. Also, if you really think about it, and this probably sounds stupid, but if you think about it in a way, trailers are kind of spoilers in their own way, but they're just
yeah,
official.
yeah, that's just like their marketing. It,
Yeah.
I really think it's funny how, and this is where it's the damaging part because, Marvel had to like scramble around everything after this dude like basically revealed the twist character for the movie. They're like, this guy's fired. We're taking his music off of the movie. We're doing all this stuff to cover up our tracks. But
I was
now
about
it's on the what?
I was about to say, like, long time ago, trailers used to not be as spoilery as they used to be now. I
Yeah,
mean,
like
Yeah.
like trailers now, it's like trailers now, like literally just tell the whole story of the movie.
And
basically,
I feel like that could also, like, at least for some trailers, I think some of it is because either this probably it's because some of it part of it could be that the studio didn't have faith in the project, so they just
yeah.
decide to just spoil it entirely so no one would see it.
Yeah, for where they're like showing off like the huge set pieces and stuff. Because if you just show like I'm just using He-Man as an example. Like you show in like a good chunk of the trailer just all the He-Man segments, the big action segments, then people already know what happens in the movie or like the bigger action segments in the movie. So people are just like, okay, well, I already saw all the big action segments in the trailer. Yeah, I really don't need to see the movie be that way. Like He-Man is not just the only one that's happened to, but that's like a really astute observation because like yeah, I do notice like there's a good amount of some of these movies that basically show all these big action set pieces, all these really important plot points in the trailer. I was like, you want to keep all these big important things, these big twists a secret, then why are you showing like half of them in the trailer? I don't know.
Uh, I don't know, maybe because they probably just didn't really like I said, they maybe didn't have faith in the project, or like, I don't know, maybe they also feel burned out by the sequels and remakes that they constantly have to do. So they're just like, frick it, we're just gonna show everything.
I mean, yeah. Hey, John, you were telling me earlier you had like a positive note for like some of these like leaks. What was that? Now it's been like sitting eating at me in the back of my head.
Well, the things I've seen so far, the sets look good so far, what I've seen. The sets look good.
It's,
Costumes look fantastic. I think that's all I gotta say right now
so
regarding.
and that's with the just like the Tangled stuff.
Yeah, that's just the Tangled part
I
portion of the whole thing.
I think go ahead.
I think with like also I don't know if this also damages the thing of a box office for a movie,
Hmm.
but how secretive Netflix is being with Narnia is
Oh,
concerning because I understand that even there were even leaked pictures of that set too, so it wasn't as big or whatnot.
mm,
But there was one time where one of the kids, who I think it was the actor who's playing Diggory, was in an interview and he was asked about, like, oh, how do you feel about working with these other people? Meaning, like, working with the other actors and Greta Gerwig. And he said, well, if I could tell you more, I would, but I can't. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well, is that going to damage the box office if we don't get people excited about this movie?
Well, if it's on Netflix, then it might be like subscription numbers or something.
Yeah,
Well,
that
they said they're going to put it in theaters first. They
Oh,
do a
okay.
theater release and then put it on Netflix.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
wonder if it's like plot important, and that's
Mm,
why they don't want to be like, oh, here's this big important thing that we don't want to tell you about. It's like, okay, what?
Or maybe, or could be a possibility that it's going through a whole lot of development hell right now.
Yeah, that is
mm,
another thing. Like you get a lot of these movies, well, especially like some of these Marvel movies that have to do like reshoot after reshoot after reshoot because like half the time they have a plan and then they actually rewatch it and they don't have the confidence in the original plan, so to speak.
mm, yeah.
It's it's kind of annoying, especially like a lot of it. Like I don't get me wrong. I love leaks. I love some of these leaks sometimes. I like seeing like, oh, what does this design for this character look like? Or obviously sometimes they just like show off concept art. So that's you can't really go off of a concept art or test footage. You can't get a whole vibe off of some of this test footage. I mean, look at like what Sonic the Hedgehog. They had some test footage even before they showed the first trailer, and then that was a whole mess. So it, there's something that's both positive and negative about like this whole culture, but I don't know. It's cool, but it's also just kind of annoying, I guess.
And then and
No.
then there are also cases like and this is also another reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because you have Paramount, who originally wanted to make Avatar: Aang: The Last Airbender movie a theatrical showing, but then
Oh
after
yeah.
one too many delays, apparently because there were, as they stated, there was some unspecified delays in physical animation production, which probably actually meant that there was some chaos with Paramount's merger with Skydance that happened during its production, and the team probably weren't sure if they were going to keep their jobs or not. They opted to put it on their dying streaming service. And it's like,
Yeah.
I am not surprised at all it got leaked because it probably got leaked because someone was fed up with Paramount's stupid decision
Uh,
from announcing last year. In fact, I think it was in December of last year that they announced that. And it's like, sure, we can have debates about the ethics of it. Like, I can understand why the film production would be upset by this. It sucks seeing your hard work get undermined and especially not getting paid for it. But at the same time, it is in a way Paramount's own fault here, which again, I'm not surprised at all that they did this because they are one of the most chaotic, reckless, short-sighted, and childish studios ever, tied with Warner Brothers. It's like, and even if they kept to the theatrical release and it was still leaked, people said that the quality of the movie looks very theatrical and cinematic and would have seen in theaters anyway. And actually, having watched the movie with my brother, since he got a brief Paramount Plus subscription just to watch it and then cancel it afterwards, it's like, yeah, this really should have been in theaters. And side tangent incoming, if they were considered greedy, then they would have made so much money from people going to see it in theaters. But again, because of the merger probably delaying the theatrical date, and executives maybe seeing Paramount's numbers being lower than they wanted to be, so they just said frick it and put it on their streaming service to increase traction. And the other funny thing is the cherry on top, the fact They decided to give the film a limited theatrical run in two theaters in Los Angeles and New York so they can qualify the film for the Oscars really gives credence to my theory that moving it to their streaming service was a short-sighted decision by executives.
Yeah, it like in some cases, I'm gonna say you mentioned the greed part, and maybe it's like they did all the work on this movie already. And sometimes like these executives, they just kind of want to save a couple bucks. And it costs a lot of money to, do like get trailers out, get all this stuff out just for people to watch a movie. I think we've talked about this before that like the actual ad revenue to do the ads sometimes costs just as much, if not more, than to actually make the movie. Like I think it costs like it might be a $2.5 million movie, and then it costs like another $4.6 million just to like make ads, like make do all the re that part for it. So it's a
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it wasn't always like this.
mm-mm.
It really wasn't always like this. It didn't spend millions of dollars just on marketing and ads and stuff. But then a little movie called Tim Burton's Batman came out and that changed everything.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, the movie is like almost what 40 years old, coming up in 2 years, in 3 years. So it's kind of just been a thing that I've been doing for basically ever now. So it's one of those things like, how am I trying to say you're right though. There wasn't I don't believe there was a huge marketing blitz for other movies, you know, up until like the Batman movie. He's back in the 80s and such.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get the Superman movie that came out in the 70s, and obviously, you didn't have like all this, you know, merchandising culture. They probably did, like to an extent. Obviously, there was probably paper ads in the comics. It was all, you might be reading a Superman comic from the 70s and you might get an ad or something like seeing Christopher Reeves like on the pages of like Superman like 184 or whatever, and you might see an ad on TV. But yes, to the level that they are doing now, probably, vastly outprices the amount that some of these studios like spend on the movie itself. So yeah, no, I think that yeah, Batman really did change like movie marketing as a whole. And the episode's not about marketing, it's about leaks. But I guess you could always think in a way leaking is also marketing for a movie. It's free press.
Although sometimes a leak can change an entire industry. Would
Oh
care to
yes.
explain, Dryw?
Yes, I put this in the notes, and for those at home, I know I get annoying with like my like hyperfixation, but this was back in 2018. So back before the backrooms jingle jingle jingle. Sorry, this is a joke. I'm gonna edit that out. But back in 2018, 2019 era in the Commodore series, they were showing a lot of leaks for these new forms. And there was a forum called Trinity, which was like kind of a big event forum for certain like things. I'm not going to get into deep into that, but at the current time, I believe it was early 20, like mid 2018. They were just only showing print ads because back in the day they used to show just like these magazine scans that they usually normally showed to retailers. So retailers could just be like, okay, I want to buy this gimmick item, and sell it. But, but because a lot of people were trying to get all this information out, kind of going like what I said earlier, a lot of these people are seeing this information, trying to get it out, talk about it. They still do, but now we have a new way we're doing it. And the producer has a Twitter, right? And somebody, I actually knew the guy, somebody had the smart idea while this forum was still in its like leak stage to be like, I gotta actually find the tweet, but it was just really funny to think that. Hold on, we're gonna pause for 1 second. Sometimes when I type, I accidentally type about type about my whole. Okay, but anyway, the guy deleted his tweet. Oh dang. So anyway, there was this whole thing where, to put it shortly, I'm going to protect their identity. Buddy on Twitter asked the producer, "Hey, do you know when we're supposed to be seeing this form?" And the producer of the show said, "You're not supposed to know about this form." Like they're like, "Oh my God, how do these people know?" So then what happened was it was a whole domino effect. In the span of 2, 3 years, we don't get skins anymore. Like the most we probably see is just somebody like seeing the box art for something and then posting it online. Like these things used to come out like 3 months before the show even debuted the thing. But nowadays you barely even get like a week or two before you see something. Even though like nowadays they're even like better with this stuff because they like record like several months ahead of time. And the only leaks that you get nowadays is somebody like taking a picture from like half a mile away.
Well,
Like, well, go ahead.
And oh, I was just also gonna say, like, so that implies that the producer didn't even know this was happening. Didn't even
Yeah,
know there
like,
was like people doing this.
what's going on, John? You were saying something. I want
yeah,
to
I was
hear.
about to say that was kind of one of the things that happened with Descendants 5. Apparently
Hmm.
one of the characters was supposed to turn evil, and we were
Hmm.
all supposed to make a guess. And then they released the doll of that character. And
Oh,
then it's like, oh well, now they basically sometimes when you're releasing product early, it also can be a like
that's actually
kind of a leak.
that's actually a funny segue because that's happened. That's happened not just in like Descendants. I think that's actually happened in some other like toy lines for movies too, because I think that happened in a Lego set
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Obviously, that might be like a fake spoiler in some cases because you get like the Lego Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin in a tank, like type of situation, or Thanos captured in a cage. But like character reveals, I believe before the release of Captain America Civil War, they leaked a Giant Man set. And nobody at the time, this was 10 years ago, obviously. At the time, nobody knew that Giant Man was going to be in the movie. And everybody's like, wait, wait, is Scott going to become Giant Man? So it is kind of funny to think like nobody has like the foresight in these toy marketing like
Isn't that
groups.
isn't that like the airport set where
Yes,
it had
yes.
yeah, I got that a long time ago when it came out.
Yeah, it's like it's funny to think like nobody like on these like marketing teams or like these production teams has the foresight to like what's the word? Like cover their butts to make sure that like these like set interior codes are leaked. You know what I mean? Because you get a
Yeah,
situation like
or
that.
like or like it feels like the studios themselves are not restricting themselves as to what they can show to toy manufacturers. And so you have situations like that where it's almost like they're just showing everything off at once.
Well, I mean, obviously, toy manufacturing takes like a good couple years anyway. So it's like it takes like 2 years, I believe. So that's why you take a look at some of this Doomsday merch and like the belt for Doctor Doom has changed quite significantly. Like there's like you can see it on like some of these Marvel Legends pre-orders for I know I'm using a toy as an example, but it's a good example because in this toy solicitation, I'm just going to share my screen just to I don't know if it's going to show up on the actual video. This toy solicitation, his belt looks like this, right? But in the movie, I believe it's just like a straight up buckle. So this is related to like how how toys can leak like movies and stuff. It's funny because of how long some of these like productions take to do. Half the time when some of these products come out, major things have changed about designs. And you get situations like this Doctor Doom where the belt is different, or there's just something like completely missing. I'm trying to think because this is kind of funny. I'm trying to think, was it outside of the Lego set? I think there was also like a situation where a character had an accessory for like packed in with the toy that basically spoiled a whole like section of the movie, but I can't think of like the exact thing. Jen, does that sound
Well,
familiar?
not really, but another example that I could think of was with the I think it was Godzilla. I think it was Godzilla X Kong, New Empire, when
Mm-hmm.
I think they were showing off like toy sets for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like one of them being was supposed to be it was like a Godzilla with like wireframes around him, like you put on his back, and it's like, yeah, and I think people thought they were leaks. They were like spoilers
Oh,
for the
what?
thing, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.
Actually, apparently, this is. I don't want to say apparently, but this has kind of been going on for a little bit longer because there's a whole page of like toys spoiling the movie. There's the Mask of the Phantasm, the lady that was like the Phantasm, Fiona's ogre form, Padme Amidala, lots of Lotso's whole thing, the three-eyed fish, Deadpool, Lex Lost. I don't know why. There's just something really funny to how short-sighted like some of these people in the like toy marketing industry are. Not to think of like, oh, this movie comes out in like several months. Why don't we just show off some of the stuff? I don't want to say it ruins some of these movies, but there's just there's
I don't
something.
know. It's like I said, I feel like it's probably on the studio's end because they're probably giving them images and information. They're just dumping everything at them all at once. That it's like, what are they supposed to do other than try and make as many toys as possible from that information? So it may be on the studios. It may be from studios' short-sightedness.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say in it is a little bit funny because kind of like backstepping that little bit. You have like the leaks that still are like, oh, this character is in a movie, but then you actually look at some of these like designs that come out for the movies, and then you watch like the final movie, and the designs are totally different because nobody talked to the toy producer. And I believe it was like the Shocker from Spider-Man No Way Home. No, Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming. And it's a totally different design. It's just like a whole thing. It just shows like how much, designs change in like these movies. Sorry. I got into a whole like marketing thing, but it's funny. It's funny to think like how, we have like this whole like fans like to leak everything, but you still have situations where like the studios and toy companies can't even like bother to try to be more secretive with their marketing and everything because they end up like spoiling their own movies because nobody thinks.
Yeah, it's like at that, and it's like at that point, it's like if you don't even care about keeping your stuff secretive and actually like treating your own stuff with respect and such, why should we care? That sort of thing.
Yeah, it is kind of funny just to think that if you guys don't care enough to not spoil your own movie, then why should we care enough when you guys unintentionally show off your whole movie or your whole like huge twist.
But then again, I guess anything for the good old dollar bill.
Really, it really is like that. It really is like that. I'm not trying to say what am I trying to say? It's wild. It's wild that we live in a time and age where people are so impatient that they can't like wait for like 5 minutes, figurative 5 minutes, not literal 5 minutes, but they can't wait for a movie to come out, so they end up like basically spoiling or leaking a whole movie because there's no
And
everybody's just so
actually,
impatient.
that's what happened with the Avatar Aang movie. First, it was clips that got leaked, and then the entire movie got leaked. And apparently, a person got arrested for it. Someone actually got arrested, the one who actually leaked it. And it's like, oh my gosh, either Paramount threw a massive temper tantrum and or bribed global officials or global police officials just to find whoever did it. I don't know. But
Which
that's just
which
what?
the I was gonna say which the thought of that is just like wild to me to be like to that level. They're going to like legal like standpoint just to be like, oh, you leaked our whole movie? Okay, we're gonna get you arrested. We're gonna like it's just the fact that it'll go that far is just like wild to me.
But then again, this is like I said, this is Paramount we're talking about, and it's usually the smallest studios that you should be the most afraid of because often they have nothing to lose.
That's true. I was gonna say even though like Paramount's like a massive studio, I might be
I mean,
misunderstanding the way you're saying it, but
it's massive, but in comparison with the other massive studios, it is smaller. Or I don't know.
I
But it's definitely one of the more ruthless
yeah, I
out of
was gonna
all of them.
say yeah, it's more ruthless, but I was gonna say Paramount's like been around I think technically the longest. Guess like Paramount's like one of the classic like obviously there's Universal or IPN isn't the right word for it, but like the ones that used to do all the other old monster movies and like old movies in general. I'm blanking on it right now, but it's just I don't know. I think the whole concept is wild. So, oh man, I am stupid. I forgot I had my fan on the other side of this. It's getting hot again. So I think was there anything else anybody wanted to bring up? I'm gonna like chop around this a little bit later.
I was about to say, the only links that I don't mind, probably depending on, is like toy leaks, like images of toys coming out sometimes. Like debate, like depending on what the product is, I don't mind seeing leaks of that because
Yeah,
it gets you
yeah,
excited for the product.
yeah, yeah. No, I can see that because like I was still looking at that page and yeah, there's sometimes some of these toy leaks are for movies that are based off of like old like franchises. Like it just seemed like there's like a Barbie doll leak for Oz the Great and Powerful. It's like, okay, how is that a leak? The movie's like 100. The original book is like 100 plus years old, and the original movie is at least like 90 years old at the time. You know, it's just really funny to think like, oh yeah, that's totally leaking the movie when it's not really leaking the movie. But I can see where you're coming from because I do get excited when they show off some of these like, oh, this character is going to be in the movie. Although it is funny when they have like some of these like characters that are designed, have figures, all that kind of stuff, and then they're completely cut from the movie. Or I think it's just sometimes I think they just do them for like wave filling. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. There's some funny stuff. I mean, obviously, you take a look at Spider-Man, take a look at Brand New Day, and they just made a whole bunch of designs for characters that I haven't even seen the movie. I am trying to not spoil myself at all. I've seen this many clips, and I've like bounce myself out. But you see the stuff that they're showing off in the trailers, and I'm pretty sure like you get like Boomerang, Tarantula, Tombstone, some of these big like heavy hitters, and they're probably just in there for like a montage or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but they
But
they go heavy in the marketing.
yeah, and actually going back to the Doomsday leak, seen I have seen what it is, and I'm not gonna say all of that, what
Hmm.
the leak says. But I'm just sitting here like, how is this movie going to tie in with Brand New Day? That would be like, how is that gonna work?
I have my thoughts about that whole, especially because obviously the movie was originally going to be Kang centric, but then there was a whole like crap with Jonathan Majors, and it's really hitting home how much it does kind of feel like Marvel is just nostalgia pandering at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah, they've been
Because
doing that since Endgame, honestly.
yeah, because obviously we have Wolverine coming back. We might have Deadpool coming back if the leak is true. We have yeah, obviously the X-Men coming back. That's a big like marketing thing that the X-Men are coming back. But I mean, it's been seen in the trailers, but you have Steve Rogers coming back, but they're still trying, it feels like they're still trying to market him as Captain America when Sam has been Captain America in one movie and then it got panned because it seems like Marvel doesn't really care about non-Steve Captain America, if that makes sense. There's something frustrating about that. You guys know what I mean, though?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah, yeah.
wouldn't the gag of the season be if Black Widow came back?
Oh gosh.
It,
Oh gosh.
oh God, like if
That'd be
they,
the
I don't know
gag.
if
Oh, you wanted a twist, eh?
I don't know if ScarJo would come back. They might
No,
try
she's
to
not
do
coming.
it for Secret Wars, but I feel like Yelena is like definitely the new like Black Widow for their whole like thing. She's fallen. What?
Imagine if like something happens where they have to use the alternate actors that they were originally gonna choose. Like, imagine if Black Widow came back, but it was Emily Blunt as Black Widow. I mean, that's
The
just a pet
kind of
theory. I
reminds
don't
me of
know.
like when people were like making fake leaks of Tom Cruise being evil Iron Man or superior Iron Man. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know why, but like yeah, and that kind of goes along with my other issue with Doomsday, and I'm gonna go with an open mind. Is like you get some fandom pandering casting too, because obviously you have Channing Tatum's Gambit in the movie. Like, don't get me wrong, I thought Channing Tatum was funny as Gambit, but I need like a little bit more substance to it. If they give him a little bit more substance outside of being, oh my movie never came out. I was born in the null void or whatever they're calling it in here. I need a little bit more substance outside of I never got a movie. And now they're probably gonna get like Wesley Snipes in Doomsday because apparently Marsha Ali's not even playing Blade anymore. But they got Ryan Gosling to be Ghost Rider. So it's
My gosh, that sounds weird.
I love these movies, but it's just so stupid how like they plan for some of these things and then they don't go through it because either their short-sightedness or like in the back of some of these producers' minds is like I really don't want to actually have this movie come out or whatever. Like a Blade movie would be so easy to make. They made one almost 30 years ago and they could have done it again. And they have some of these characters they've been sitting on for a decade. Look, not decade, but like half a decade. Look at Shang-Chi. You know, Simu Liu has been sitting on his ass, sitting on his hands for like 6 years. So it's like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, but I hope that some of these actors that have been sitting on their hands because of studio short-sightedness, they get their check. I hope they get their check because that's something that's just kind of been frustrating about a lot of this, like in the
Yeah,
last couple of years.
it's almost like you wonder if these studios just get these characters just so no one else can have them.
I mean, technically, look at the rights situation with Hulk and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically had to. I mean, obviously, it's not really a teaser because like they showed off the Hulk and a lot of the Spider-Man stuff, but they couldn't have a Hulk movie itself or a Spider-Man movie itself, so they had to make a Hulk and Spider-Man movie just to be well, here's the legal loophole. I mean, obviously Spider-Man's out of that legal loophole, but it's so dumb. It's so dumb. So I'm gonna go into some of these. I'm gonna go into these future movies with a little bit of skepticism because of the nostalgia pandering, but I still think I'm gonna enjoy them. Doctor Doom is like one of my like big like favorite Marvel villains because he's a villain by like environment, and a villain by just being like pure like evil, so to speak. So
Should have been played by Mads Nicholson, but here we are.
yeah, that's another thing. Get an act like don't get me wrong. Robert Downey Jr. is a very versatile actor. I'm not going to disagree. But get a Romani actor, get an actor that like fits into that geographical like area.
And it's not like they can get the Doctor Doom actor who like the actor that played Doctor Doom in the original Fantastic Four movie
He's gone.
because he's dead. He passed away.
I mean, they also like pissed on the original Fantastic Four movies when they like killed off Johnny Storm. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was the studio's like their whole feeling about those Fantastic Four movies when they just let like skin Johnny Storm. But that might just be me. But it's God, actually no, that's actually funny to think like in retrospect now because what Deadpool Wolverine came out in 2024 and that then Fantastic Four came out in 2025. So it's like, oh, you see this old Fantastic Four? Forget this Fantastic Four. We're skinning Johnny Storm alive. Now here's your new Fantastic Four with the guy who played Eddie from Stranger Things playing Johnny Storm. Who's a good Johnny Storm, but it's just kind of funny. So, oh man, we got a little off topic, and sometimes it just happens for people watching at home. I'm transitioning into the outro. We just want to say thank you for watching. Don't spoil the episode for the people that haven't watched, but please like, comment, subscribe, share all those fun little things. And you know what? Please be excellent to each other. We will see you guys next time. And yeah, you guys take care.